So did you watch France yesterday in the World Cup? It was amazing. And if you did, you probably noticed what everyone else noticed, right? Kylian Mbappé scored twice and France looked dominant. Their attack seemed almost effortless at times. And of course, people are talking about the big thing, how fast Mbappé is. But I'm going to invite you to watch the match again, and you can get it on the internet, of course. And not because you're going to notice another goal, and you're probably going to appreciate his athletic ability even more because he's a master. But I'm going to invite you to watch it and look for something that I think most people really miss because his performance is so incredible. It wasn't how fast he moved. It's how unhurried he seemed. And I think that one thing, that human skill is incredibly valuable, and it's something that any of us can develop. We're going to talk about that in this clip. Hi, I'm Leeza Steindorf, and for over 20 years, I've had the privilege of working with leaders and organizations and entrepreneurs and government agencies around the world. And people often assume that my work is about communication or conflict or leadership, and yes, there are all those things in there. It's where I apply it. But underneath all of that, what I'm really fascinated by is something much more fundamental. I'm fascinated by what human beings are like when they're under pressure, because everybody reacts and responds so differently. And the people that excel, they've got something in common, and that's what I want to talk about. Because pressure, I think, has a way of revealing things about us that we usually don't notice, like our habits, our patterns, our fears, the stories that we tell ourselves. And sometimes it also gives us a chance to show capacities that we didn't even know we had. And that's one of the reasons I love watching extraordinary athletes. And I'm a huge soccer fan anyway. And this isn't because I know more about sports than anyone else. That is so not true. I don't at all. But I watch them because high-level competition actually magnifies human behavior. And things become easier to see. It's almost like in crystalline. And yesterday, watching Mbappé, I found myself noticing something that had very little to do with soccer. And that is, of course, he's fast. Like, no one's questioning that. His acceleration is like, phew. His timing is remarkable. His technical ability is just like gorgeous to watch. And yesterday he scored twice, and I think he became the all-time leading goal scorer in the World Cup knockout matches. And that alone is extraordinary, right? But that's not what stayed with me. That's not what really impressed me. What I noticed most was something that was really quiet. It's like it was a subtle character. If you've ever noticed that some people have more time, it's like it's not that they're in slow motion, but it's like there's space around them. They're in the exact same situation as everyone else. Like they have the same amount of pressure and the clock's the same one and expectations and all of that. But they somehow don't seem hurried or frantic, right? There's this calm. They're not forcing things. It's as though the world slows down around them. And obviously that's not what happens. What changes isn't time, but I think it's perception. And their perception and also how we're perceiving them changes. And that changes everything. So if you happen to watch the highlights again, don't follow the ball. Watch Mbappé before he receives it. Like, watch his stance, what his shoulders are doing. Watch his head and his eyes, like his presence. And notice how he often scans the field before the ball ever even gets to him. And also notice there's no sense of panic. Like it's like a calm in the storm. He's not rushing simply because everybody else is. In fact, one of the things that struck me yesterday was how composed France looked as a whole, as a team. And the energy was high, right? The pace was incredibly fast. But underneath that, it seemed like there was like patience. Like Michael Oise wasn't forcing opportunities. He was actually like creating them. And Dembele, he wasn't just sprinting. He was like reading space. Yeah. Barcola wasn't becoming the hero or trying to do something extraordinary. He was like part of something much bigger. And Mbappe, for someone playing on one of the biggest stages in the world, like the World Cup, right, with millions of people watching, I think there's like 80,000 people in these stands. He looked remarkably at ease. And that doesn't mean he wasn't working hard, clearly, right? And I think sometimes we confuse ease with laziness, which one certainly wouldn't do that with him, right? Or calm with a lack of intensity. They're not the same thing, yeah? So some of the most intensely focused people that you'll ever meet also appear to be the calmest. And I think that calm, we've misinterpreted calm as lack of energy. Not at all. It's not the absence of intensity. It's actually the absence of internal chaos. And I want to say that again because I think it's worth really taking some time with. Calm isn't the absence of intensity. It's not having internal chaos. It's that clear space. Very different things. So, have you ever walked into a situation, a meeting, a group, whatever, nothing had actually happened yet. No one had criticized you. There wasn't any difficult performance to do, nothing happening, but internally, like you're already trying to get it over with, whether it's a social situation or professional situation, you're like rehearsing what you're going to say, or you're defending against something that you think might happen. I've done it. I know other people have done it, right? Or maybe you've gone into a conversation with someone you really love, and before they've even spoken, you're already preparing your response. Like you're not listening anymore. You're ready to protect yourself, or you're predicting what the outcome's going to be. So like you're reacting because as though it's already happened. And here's what's fascinating. When we're internally rushing like that, things kind of shrink and get smaller and contracted. And in that situation, we stop noticing. Yeah, because when things get smaller, we have less possibilities and we become less creative because we're contained. We're less curious, we're less available. And it's not because we don't have the capacity. We do, we always do. But it's because our attention has narrowed, right? Our nervous system has quietly decided, oh boy, we got to just survive here. Yeah? And survival is a very different agenda than presence. Okay? So one of the things I've learned over the years is that life really doesn't ask us to move faster. Like, it's not saying hurry up. It's inviting us to see more clearly. And those are different things. I think that we put the pressure, we put that pace, that speed into things. And if you think about that for a moment, the people that we admire most, whether they're athletes, in this case, we've been talking about soccer players, right? Or great leaders or teachers who we really admire, or someone you just really love being around, right? They aren't remarkable because they do things fast or flashy, right? They're remarkable because they don't lose themselves. They don't get lost when things go fast or chaotic or people expect them to perform. They stay true to who they are. And I think that's exactly what I was seeing yesterday. It wasn't simply a fast player. It was a grounded one. Someone who wasn't willing to adjust to the speed or let that speed around him just take him along. Yeah? He didn't internalize it. And that's really a real, I'm going to say, an amazing strength to have. You know, one of the things I find so interesting is that we live in a culture that celebrates speed. Oh my gosh, especially with the technology today, right? Faster responses, faster growth, quicker decisions, like go, 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 go. I often, like if somebody's working on a computer and it takes like 2 seconds, oh, it's so slow. We're constantly told that if we just move faster, we'll be more successful. That may be true. Personally, I don't think it is. But even if it were true, it's not the whole story. Because speed without awareness, actually, if you're not being present and aware to what's going on, that can be really expensive, right? If we think about business, we've all experienced it, right? Sending an email, we wish we hadn't sent because it was like, oh, I should have, right? Or interrupting someone because we assumed we knew what they were going to say. We finished the sentence and that's not at all what they were going to say. Or making a decision before we had taken the time to do the research or getting the information. So when we react instead of respond, right? React is like a knee-jerk reaction. A response is where we have the time to respond, to take our time. Those moments don't usually happen because we're not intelligent or we're not smart or savvy. They happen because we feel internally rushed. And when we're internally rushed, something happens. We stop seeing literally what's in front of us. And instead, we start reacting to what we imagine is happening. And that's true in a soccer match too, right? And it's true in the boardroom or a marriage or in raising children. It's certainly true when you're dealing with conflict. So one of the things I've learned after working with people in more than 30 cultures around the world is that people are remarkably similar in this regard. We all think that we see an objective reality, where what we're actually seeing is our interpretation of that reality. And I think that's a humbling realization, right? To get that I'm not seeing things as they really are. I'm seeing them through a lens of my beliefs, of my desires, how I want things to be. And it's also really liberating, like freeing, because once I recognize that, then I can become curious. It's like, well, I think this is what's going on, but I wonder what's really going on. And I can start wondering and not defend. I can start listening and asking questions and noticing things. And that's where better decisions begin, because I have more space, right? Sometimes I think about it this way. Imagine you're standing in the middle of the forest and you're running as fast as you can on the path, and you may totally miss the trail. You'll miss the birds singing. You'll miss light coming through the trees and the smell of the trees or the earth around you, right? Or maybe the person who's walking with you or running with you. And it's not because those things aren't there. It's because you don't have the availability to notice them. Yeah? And life's like that. So the answer that we're looking for is oftentimes already present. And the opportunity is already there. The solution is already emerging. But we're so busy trying to get somewhere that we don't see what's right here. And I think that's one of the reasons that I spend so much of my work helping people become more grounded before they become strategic. Because when we take that time, when we gift ourselves that space, that slower pace inside of ourselves, we access our strategy, we access our intelligence, we access our creativity and our talents that often aren't accessible when we're rushing. Yeah? Because strategy, when we don't have that awareness, it just becomes really polished action or reaction, I'm going to say. And when we're reacting, we're usually not doing our best thinking. So, before you misunderstand me, I'm not suggesting that we get passive and just go totally slow and zen all the time or be hesitant. Not at all. Like, look at Mbappé. Grounded people act really decisively. But the difference is that their action comes from a clarity inside, not from panic, not from rushing. And there's a world of difference between moving quickly and rushing. Yeah? One comes from presence, and the other comes, I'm going to say, from fear or from lack of awareness. So when I watched France yesterday, that's what stood out to me. They weren't simply trying to outrun Sweden. There was a flow to the way that they played, like a trust and an awareness of one another. Yeah? Michael Elise wasn't trying to prove himself every time he touched the ball. He was like reading the game. He was in that flow. Mbappe wasn't forcing opportunities. He trusted that, or it looked that way, that another one was going to come. And that's a very different mindset than desperation. Is it going to happen again? Am I going to get... So I think that's something that all of us can learn from. That's why I love watching sports. There's so much there. It's so rich. So whether you're leading a meeting or starting a business or repairing a relationship or simply trying to find out what comes next in your own life, sometimes the greatest gift, I think, that you can give yourself, that we can give ourselves, is not another technique and another 1, 2, 3. It's the permission to be present. Just the space to notice what you couldn't see a few seconds ago. Like just slowing down, just noticing. Because that awareness literally creates space and offers us choices. And our choices shape our lives. So I'm going to offer you something if you'd like to experiment this week, a practice you can take with you the next time that you feel yourself speeding up. And for me, it took me a while to do this because speed was my normal state. So I didn't even know I was going fast until I started to slow down. And then it's become the opposite now. My internal pace is very calm. And if I do speed up, I notice it immediately. So the next time you feel yourself speeding up, don't judge yourself. Don't try and force yourself to calm down. Just notice it. Just notice what's going on. Notice your breathing. Notice your body, your shoulders, your head, your chest. Like notice how quickly your mind starts predicting and spinning into the future. Like what's going to happen next? And now they're going to do this and that. And then just ask yourself one question. What might I see if I don't rush in this moment? That's it. You don't have to say, what should I do? Or how do I fix this? Or why can't I? Just, what might I notice if I give myself a few seconds here? That's all. And you may be surprised by what you notice, what appears. Might be another possibility or another question, or you may be aware of the other person in front of you or your own emotions. Like whatever it was that felt so urgent, you may recognize it wasn't really urgency. It was pressure or imagined pressure. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts of becoming more grounded. Yeah, you don't lose your ability to move quickly. You gain the ability or the capacity to choose when speed serves you, when it doesn't, and how you want to use it when you do need it. So yesterday, Kylian Mbappé scored 2 beautiful goals. He had another remarkable chapter to add to his extraordinary career. Millions of people were amazed at his speed, but I literally found myself watching something completely different about him. I watched really what happens when an extraordinary ability is supported by composure. Yeah, when that intensity, that prowess that he has is partnered with calm. And I've spoken often about confidence, that it's not loud, it's groundedness. It's being grounded in your internal awareness of your value. And when that presence quietly shapes everything you do and everything you decide, really. So maybe that's why the best performers make things look effortless in whatever field they're in, right? Orators, dancers, musicians, athletes. It's not because they're trying less. It's because they're not arguing with themselves, right? They don't have that internal tension and friction going on. And I think that that's absolutely something that I'd like to continue to learn from. And we can take that into all parts of our lives. So if you have any thoughts to this, please leave your comments in the section below. We're growing a really neat community here. And if this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to have you join me here each week. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the video. And together here we explore, I'm going to say, invisible patterns that are beneath leadership and relationships and communication and conflict and really everyday life. So if that's the kind of conversation you're looking for, I'd be honored to have you part of our group. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment when slowing down internally helped you see something you would have maybe otherwise missed? Share that in the comments below. I do read them, and I really and genuinely enjoy learning from your experiences as well. So thank you for being here. Until next time, I hope that your week really brings you many opportunities with all the intensity that your life can gift you and all the calm that helps you see clearly. All right. Until then, be well.